Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Logical Nonsense Podcast. We have Dodge and Kaden back on for another podcast. NFL Week 11 has just concluded with the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Kansas City Chiefs. What a win. And now we will be going over the whole week as well as next week. Boys, how are we doing today?
We were doing good. DeAndre Swift got a catch on 3rd and 22, and I won in one of my fantasy leagues by 0.1 points. So we will take that.
Dodge,
Yeah.
What about DeAndre Swift? Did he get you a win tonight?
DeAndre Swift on that 3rd down and 22 catch, I thought he was going to get me that win with the first down. It didn't happen, though. He ran right into the defensive guy, no blocking. And so I lost by less than 3 points. So
Well, anything about fantasy I've learned is you can't rely on guys ever. So if you're not going into the Monday Night Football winning, just don't trust it. Just don't trust it. Josh Allen, I hate you. All right, so let's get into this podcast today. We have a new segment that I have explained to these boys. We have Rate the Game, which is on 3 categories. So we've got grab your popcorn. This was a great game. I was, wow, this was munching. I want to munch on some popcorn, maybe drink a brewski. Like, this was a great game, right? Then we got MIDterrean Sea, because this was a very mid game. There's some highlights, but overall it was pretty boring, but it wasn't terrible football. And then our last category is Shitshow. It's where you want to, wash your eyes out with soap after watching this kind of football. So those are the 3 categories we have. We will go through every game this week, rate the games as well as talk about the games. Let's start with Thursday Night Football, Ravens Bengals. Rate the game, and then we'll get into this one.
Yeah, I'll start it with the MIDterrean Sea. It had the potential to be a grab your popcorn. Then Joey Burrow gets hurt and goes downhill from there. They can't get anything going. Ravens win. I think Lamar's 8-1 against the Bengals now. It had potential, and now the Bengals season's pretty much toast. So for me, it's mid. It's a tough break for the Bengals. Burrow just got back healthy. They were looking pretty good offensively. Now it's tough for them.
yeah, definitely was looking forward to this game being one of the better Thursday night games of the season. I'm going to go with MIDterrean Sea as well. The only unfortunate part is that it fell such below expectations that it almost makes you want to put it as a shit show just because Joey B got injured. But no, it wasn't honestly a bad game, especially for a Thursday night. So
Yeah, I'm also going to go piggyback with everyone, grab my boat, and sail the MIDterrean Sea because this is just about as mid as they come. I don't want to watch Jake Browning play football. I want to watch Joe Burrow play football against this Ravens defense. That was what I was expecting. The Ravens came in with the black jerseys. Bengals had the white ones on. Like, there's so many great aspects to this game going into it, and it really just turned out mid. As many people know on this podcast, I don't like rooting on the Ravens. So I don't know why I have this weird hatred for them, but so seeing them not only beat the Bengals, but now put the Bengals out of contention, I think, kind of hurts. I don't think there's a world where the Bengals are now playoff contenders. They kind of had a little streak there. Even with the loss the previous week to the Texans, I still felt like if they won this game, they were definitely still in contention to make the playoffs. What do you think this does for the future of the Bengals? Not just this season, but the future.
That's tough, honestly, because season's probably a wash. Do you consider just tanking now this season?
I disagree with both of you, but
I don't know. I just don't really know where you go from here. I mean, the wild card is tight right now in the AFC. I think get your guys healthy for next year. See you can get O lineman for Joe Burrow. He's the most sacked quarterback ever. I want to say through however many games and snaps he's played. So you just got to protect your players this offseason.
I think it's a little too early in the season for the 5-5 Bengals to just quit. I understand that Jake Browning is like not Joe Burrow, but if Jake Browning goes on a run, he plays decent football, this Bengals team can win games. So I disagree. If you have a shot to make playoffs, you need to go for it. And I think they still do have a shot to make playoffs. If Jake Browning starts playing like crap, then sure, change routes. But it's a little too early to tell. And honestly, even if they tanked right now, they're not going to get a great pick. They're going to probably manage to at least win 1 or 2 more games, even if they started tanking. And then you're just getting a mid-round pick anyway. You might as well make the push for playoffs, see what you can't do. So, yeah, that's how I feel about the Bengals.
My one thing with that is Joe Burrow was very average to bad at the beginning of the season. And I think that's about what you're going to get with Jake Browning. And the Bengals started off, I don't know their exact record, but it wasn't good. They did not start off hot. They did not play well. And I don't think that Jake Browning is going to do much better than how Joe Burrow was playing at the beginning of the season. And that's my one worry with this team now is I just don't see them bouncing back. He was their main guy, got guys going, and when he was healthy, this team was clicking. When Joe Burrow was down, they weren't. So, I think there's a world where, maybe he does put it together, but I don't see that world personally. So, let's move on though to the Steelers Browns rating first. I will start first. I'm going with the MIDterrean Sea. Very low scoring game. Yes, a lot of defense. But I don't. Dorian Thompson-Robinson versus Kenny Pickett is not a dream quarterback matchup in my mind. This was a very, very rough offensive game to watch. Defensively, pretty electric. The one thing I will say about this game before I move on to you guys, if the Browns would have lost it, that safety that was not called would have bit them in the ass because it was such a safety that I don't know how they didn't challenge it.
I was saying the exact same thing. I was yelling at the television when they showed that very first replay. I was like, throw the challenge flag. Throw the challenge flag. I don't know how you don't throw it. He ended up throwing it on another play that was honestly more of a questionable one to throw it on.
The craziest part was there wasn't really an argument. He tucked the ball. There was no forward progress. And it was kind of undisputable.
The risk versus reward too. You get 2 points in the ball back if you get it right.
Yeah.
Why are we not taking that? Why are we not taking that chance? Sorry, I had something to say on that.
No, you're good. I mean, who wants to rate next?
I mean, that to me is a definition of a shit show game.
Oh, shit show!
No, I didn't want to watch it. I watched maybe 5 minutes and I couldn't handle it. Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada combo is just awful. To the Steelers, I know there's a lot of turmoil. Should they move on from Kenny Pickett early? Because he is not playing good. This is the worst quarterback battle maybe of the year. This game sucked. The Browns defense is keeping them in games, and I feel bad for Browns fans because they just can't do anything on offense. And now they just signed Joe Flacco, 38, 30. I don't know how old he is, but I don't know how much better he's going to make their offense. But their defense wins them games. Same with the Steelers, but this was just an ugly game.
Joey.
I 100% agree with Kaden. It was a shit show. I watched the full game. I would say the two defenses on this team make this game not quite a shit show. But The quarterbacks. Oh my gosh, they're terrible.
There's some bad
They're-
decision making.
They're horrible. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's a rookie. Let's give him that. He's just not ready to play yet in the league. And Kenny Pickett was never ready to play in the league. He still isn't ready to play in the league. I think the signing of Joe Flacco was a good idea for the Browns. They're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think he gives them the best option because PJ Walker has played worse than Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and nobody wants to talk about that either. But no, honestly, Joe Flacco was, I think, the second best free agent out there, behind like Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Matt Ryan wants to actually get back in the game or not. I'm sure the Browns called him.
The Browns are 7-3, and I think have had some of the most instability of any other offense in this league right now. They've had Nick Chubb go down. They've had Deshaun Watson go down. They've had PJ Walker in as quarterback. They've had Dorian Thompson-Robinson as quarterback, and now they're about to go get Joe Flacco in as quarterback. And they're 7-3. It's pretty incredible what they're doing. And I'll go back to a few podcasts ago, Dodge. There's one man who's leading that defense. Myles Garrett, who should have gone that safety.
Yep, facts.
Any more on that game, guys?
No.
Okay. Don't want to talk about the shit show game, according to them. All right. Next game, we've got Lions Bears. Dodge, rate the game.
I'm gonna go MIDterrean Sea here.
Okay.
I don't think it was a grab your popcorn game, just because Jared Goff had one of his worst games of the season, if not his worst. And it was definitely a better game than expected. The Bears looked good. Justin Fields looked good. I think he's showing that they should not move on from Fields yet, and that they should go get more weapons around him. They were in position to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think the Bears are better than their record a little bit too.
Okay. Kaden?
I think it was mid for about 3.5 quarters, and then that last little stretch, grab your popcorn. It was 26-14.
I like that.
Jared Goff having one of the worst games of his season, remembers that he's an MVP caliber type quarterback this year, drives him down twice, 2 touchdowns. They win the game. Old Detroit team probably doesn't win that. I don't know if it's more credit to the new Detroit this year or if it's just the Bears being the Bears and just blowing a lead at the end of the game, because they do that a lot.
It's
I think it's the Bears being the Bears. I think that's what makes it mid to me.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. I agree with Kaden pretty wholeheartedly, but that's I can't fully agree with Kaden, so I'll just go MIDterrean Sea because the other outweighs, right? So, no, but seriously, I agree with whatever everyone has said. Jared Goff didn't look good until the fourth quarter. Justin Fields looked good. I mean, 100 yards on the ground as well as 150-ish yards throwing to and a touchdown. So I think that's a fine game. He shows that he can compete against good teams because the Lions are a good team. And so, the Bears just need to figure it out. Obviously, Justin Fields isn't the issue. People want to blame Justin Fields, but, we keep pointing the finger at the coach. Probably is.
Eberflus, fire him.
I think there is more to the coach too. I think they need to get some more weapons on both sides of the ball, not just offense. So we'll see what they do, what moves they can make, because 3-8 is not where you want to be. So, any more on this game? No. All right. Chargers, Packers. Who would like to rate this game?
I'll start, and I'm going to go shit show on this one because the Chargers should be winning games like this. They should beat the Packers. It's time for Staley to go. I've had enough. There's just ugly football. Their offense isn't producing. Keenan Allen, Eckler, Herbert. This should be a winning football team, and they're 4-6, and they should beat the Packers. It was just an ugly game.
I'm gonna go actually MIDterrean Sea again. I think the expectation of the Chargers is what's driving a possible shit show thing. Just because I think everyone expected the Chargers to win this game. And yeah, I agree. They need to fire. There's another head coach that needs to go, Staley, because this team's way too talented to be 4-6 and barely in playoff contention still. I mean, they're barely in it. So.
Yeah. I have a new category. What the fuck happened? So the Chargers, once again, I don't know how many times I have to preach on this podcast. They don't know how to be clutch. Brandon Staley does not know how to coach a game. 5 of their 6 losses this season have been by 3 or less. Tell me you don't know how to pull off a game in clutch time without telling me that, because that's exactly what keeps on happening. This Packers team is, in my opinion, not good. I actually think it's kind of impressive that they're 4-6.
They looked better, to be fair.
They did look better.
Love didn't play bad that game,
but
I don't think they're
still
good
think
either.
it's impressive that they're 4-6. So yeah, I don't know really, like, the Quentin Johnston drop too. Like, that's horrible. I mean, there's so many. Like, what more do you want from Justin Herbert or Keenan Allen? I mean, like, they're doing their job. Like, I don't like. There seems to be a common denominator here, and I don't think it's players. So, figure it out, Chargers.
Seth and I
But
were talking about that game actually in the drop, and we were talking about the fact that, like, if anyone on this podcast, like, if I threw that ball and y'all dropped it, I'd be mad.
You should be. You should
You
be.
know?
You should be.
You're probably not getting the ball next time I
No.
throw it.
No. And that's the problem, is Herbert's receivers keep going down too. That he doesn't have Palmer now, and he also doesn't have Mike Williams. So, I mean, you can only throw it to so many guys before another one goes down. So, any more on this game?
No.
Okay. Rate the game. Raiders Dolphins.
This was MIDterrean Sea. I mean, it could go down to shit show just because the Dolphins offense kind of got held for the most part. Tyreek was really the only bright spot. Then he got that hand injury. He should be fine though, but Aiden O'Connell definitely gives the Raiders a little bit more life, I'd say. Even if he's not doing the best, they want to be around him. New coach, they want to play for him. But, the Raiders had a lot of chances at the end to tie it up. A lot of turnovers, kind of messy football. It's just kind of a mid game overall, in my opinion.
I'm going to disagree. This one was a shit show.
Ooh.
And my reasoning is that neither offense looked good. And I know that Dolphins defense isn't good either. And I actually disagree again with the Aiden O'Connell thing. I think if the Raiders wanted to win more games, they would play Jimmy Garoppolo. I know Garoppolo's played bad. But at this point, if they were wanting to get into playoff contention, Garoppolo is the better quarterback. He wouldn't have thrown 3 picks against the Dolphins. And I just think that he has a better connection with Jacoby Myers, who's been dynamic when Garoppolo's been in the game. I honestly think that they might have won that game if Garoppolo played. I don't think the players want to play. I don't think there's that same fire. I can agree with that. But Aiden O'Connell is just not – he's just not good enough at this point to push the Raiders above. And even Garoppolo would have to play better too. But he's shown in the past that he can play better than what he's played, now. So you kind of have to hope for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think Aiden O'Connell, though, he did just come off 2 wins, and the Raiders had to continue that. They finally found somebody who could win them 2 straight games. And so I think, until it's like, the old phrase, until it's broke, don't fix it. So, maybe putting Jimmy G back in there is the answer. Maybe it'll, I don't know, rejuvenate him being on the bench for a little bit, wake him up a little bit. But I don't know. Overall, I'm going to have to rate this a MIDterrean game. I mean, Miami's still fun to watch at the end of the day, like on offense. So I think that in alone, it's hard to say they're a shit show. It's close to a shit show though. It's really close. But it's also maybe one of those things to me that's kind of funny that the Raiders are even competing now that Josh McDaniels is gone. Because I was never a fan of Josh McDaniels as a head coach. So I think it's hilarious that they're now in games, winning games ever since he's left. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's go to Giants Commanders. Rate this game.
This one also is just MIDterrean for me. I like the Giants played good this week. You got to give them credit there. DeVito, picked it up. He has as many touchdowns in 3 starts as Kenny Pickett has in 30 or something like that on all his starts. So, Saquon looked good. Their defense, 6 turnovers, I think. They were flying. So they were good. Sam Howell kind of had a rougher day. His receivers dropped a lot of passes. Commanders should be better than that. I thought they were going to blow out the Giants, but it was actually kind of a decent game to watch. So it's pretty good to me.
Yeah, I agree with MIDterrean Sea in this one. Rough day for my man Sammy Howell, but I think once the Commanders got rid of their 2 edge rushers, Montez Sweat and Chase Young, we're going to see them drop games that they shouldn't have dropped. There's no chance if Montez Sweat and Chase Young are there, Tommy DeVito has this good of a game.
True.
And I mean, they had a bad game on offense too, but with those guys on D, I think the Giants would have had a much rougher time. And so
Yeah.
I think the Commanders are in a mode now that with them they could have competed for playoffs, but without them, they're kind of just letting everybody develop. Every once in a while, Sam Howell's going to have these games where he throws 3 or 4 picks.
Yeah. Yeah,
half his picks come from or more than half his picks come from 2 games. So
yeah, I was gonna get there. So first, my rating, I'll also go MIDterrean Sea. I mean, I think it was a weirdly entertaining game, considering these 2 teams and what I would say are kind of almost skeleton teams at this point. Like they're kind of just thrown together is the best way to describe them. But they competed. It's one of those car crashes you kind of have to wash. And so I think it was enjoyable in the sense that you don't really see Tommy DeVito throw 3 touchdowns usually. So there's that, and then on the other side, I mean, I love seeing Dodge's quarterbacks that he loves throw 3 interceptions. Kidding. No, but I was going to ask you, Dodge. You're a big no turnovers guy. Sam Howell has 12 on the year. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it's really his first year starting. So, I look at it and I say, yes, he has 12 turnovers, but he has, I think it's 20 total touchdowns. So I look at it and I say, it's not a great thing, but really you need to see how he develops. And it's a good enough ratio where he's a starter in the league.
Okay.
Especially if he cuts down on these really bad games. Like he's had seven picks in 2 games. If he cuts down on half of that in those 2 really poor games, and stops trying to force balls in games that he's down in.
Yeah.
I think that you'll see, like he would only have 9 picks or something like that. And that's with 20 touchdowns, that's even better. So
Yep.
we'll see how his second year goes too. I mean, obviously it's all about development. You have to get better.
What do you think, Cade? What do you think about Sam Howell? Are you a believer?
I don't know, because he's on my fantasy team, so I've been cheering for him the last couple of weeks, and he's been doing pretty good for the most part. But every once in a while, he has a stinker. But I still think he's probably their most solid option. He manages the game pretty well. I think same thing. His receivers, a lot of his interceptions are kind of off the fingertips or just a bad decision kind of mix. So, like Dodge said, if he could limit those, he's a solid quarterback, and he could definitely lead a team to a playoffs once he develops a little bit more.
Okay, I like that. Let's go to the next game. Kaden will be happy about this one. Cowboys, Panthers. Rate it, Kaden.
Yeah. Grab your. It was MIDterrean Sea. It was actually pretty close going there into the third quarter, midway through the third. Then shout out to my boy Deron Bland, NFL record tying 4th pick 6 on the year. 7 games left. Dude's just his instinct, his play on the ball is insane. Really emerged when Trayvon Diggs went down, and the Cowboys just did what they should have done, poured it on. It's kind of interesting though with this kind of new offense the Cowboys are running this year. It's not big plays. There's nickel and dime you for yards. Dak, a lot of completions, not too many total yards. Kind of force feeding it to CD, which is a bummer because I think Brandon Cooks deserves a little bit more attention. They went out and got him this offseason. They give him 2 or 3 targets a game, which is disappointing. But they're winning games. They haven't beat a team with a winning record yet, though. But is Bryce Young, I don't know if he's the move for Carolina still. I think you still got to give him a little bit of time to develop. He gets sacked way too much. Micah Parsons had 3 sacks. Just okay game.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks only performs when I have him on my bench and I'm playing you in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Put up 34 when he was on my bench. So that was awesome. No, I think I completely agree with you. This is a MIDterrean game. I mean, the Cowboys put on a really great showing against a really shitty team, which is, no offense, Caden, this is kind of on par for what they do.
Yeah.
They beat up on really bad teams, and they look really, really good. Just look at their schedule and who they beat. They are in a similar tier of team to me as the Dolphins, just because they don't have that marquee win yet. And I can't discredit a win. Like, they still got it done at the end of the day, but that's why it's mid to me. I mean, it's still, I think when this offense is clicking though, like, it is fun to watch. And to your point, Deron Bland, I mean, I was smiling when I saw that play. I was like, Caden's like, damn, I was right the last time we were talking about defensive player of the year. Like, he should be considered. So I was smiling over there. But Dodge, what would you rate this game?
A shit show.
Oh, shit show.
The reason why is because this game was never, it was never really a thought in my head that the Panthers were going to win this game. Even though it was 17-10 in the third quarter, Cowboys had pretty much full control, I felt like, of the game. I know maybe Caden's feeling, a little bit of the Cowboys don't screw it up.
Especially after that Cardinals loss. I was like, not to another 1-win team.
Yeah. So I didn't think that they were going to screw it up, and they didn't. They looked good. So I think it's what I expected, and that's why it was a shit show.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next game. Jacksonville versus Tennessee.
Shit show to me. The Titans' offense was abysmal until end of the third quarter. They had 2 long touchdowns. It was bad. Will Levis did not look good. Derrick Henry did not look good. I don't know what's going on with Henry this year. A lot of the games I watch, he just isn't getting it done. He's not him this season. And
hey, Dodge, before you respond to this rating, do you think your take a few weeks ago of Will Levis having 1 good game was correct?
I mean, yeah, I think it was correct, but I don't think Will Levis is. I honestly think like, one sec. I honestly think like, while the first half he played really poor, the second half he played all right, and for a rookie playing all right is good enough. So, I think the jury's still out on Will Levis, and we'll have to see. But yeah, I rate this game as a shit show as well. Jaguars fully had it in hand the entire game. Much better play from the Jags too. Trevor Lawrence finally looked good again. He's very inconsistent this season though.
Yep.
For some reason, Calvin Ridley went off, which he hadn't in a while. I feel like
You betted on this game.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also got a shit show on this one. But to be honest, Jacksonville needed a shit show after how they got stomped to the 49ers. I think they needed this for their confidence. Believe it or not, I know it's the Titans, so you're probably thinking, okay, they beat the Titans, but after getting blown out like that, I think for any team's confidence, you need to find ways to click on offense again, find your defense again. And I think this is huge for their confidence going forward and going into the playoffs, because I do think they are probably going to take the AFC South unless the Texans continue to stay hot, which segues my next game, Texans-Cardinals. Texans pull out a win, 21-16. Let's rate it, boys.
No. Since there's been a lot of mid football, I'm going to say grab your popcorn on this one just because CJ Stroud's been that guy. And I mean, I wanted to watch him play. He's been fun. He had his first 3 interception game, which kind of sucked because 2 of them happened in the red zone. They probably should have won this game by a lot more. Cardinals are a little bit more fun to watch with Kyler Murray back. So I know it was a close game. It was intense the whole way. So I'll give it a grab your popcorn on this one.
I'm gonna give it a MIDterrean Sea. Well, definitely intense and close throughout the game. I just feel like there's too many turnovers in this game. There's five turnovers happened in this game. That's way too many for me to say. Grab your popcorn, boys. This is good football to watch. So yeah, CJ Stroud kind of had a rough game, but you're a rookie. You're allowed to have a rough game. So yeah, I think it was a good win by the Texans. They stay hot. They're 6-4, right in the middle, in thick of playoff contention.
I will also go MIDterrean Sea. I agree with you, Dodge. There was a lot of turnovers in this game. At times, a little sloppy football, but Tank Dell had an amazing game. 8 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Like that's insane. Which still makes it entertaining. Guys had still great games, and I think the Texans are one of those teams that are fun to watch right now, and I think a lot of people are rooting for just because they've been so bad for so long, and they're under a very young guy who wasn't expected to do well with this team, under a young coach who wasn't expected to do well with this team. I mean, this is a very easy team to root for, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about the Texans.
Talk about America's team real quick.
Yikes!
The real team.
I do have a bigger question for you guys. If you're Arizona and you get this number 1 pick, are you taking Caleb Williams?
I went to the Oregon USC game the other day, and Caleb Williams, he looked good, but the last couple of weeks, I don't know if he's really worth giving everything up for him. I think the Cardinals might be better off Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that you could say that for a lot of teams if they're iffy on their quarterback. Like the Bears, if they get the first pick from the Panthers, they should definitely go Marvin Harrison. But I'm not as sold on Caleb Williams anymore. And I know USC isn't that good O-line, but I think you go with the receiver, get some more weapons if Kyler Murray's really dead set on competing with this team.
Yeah, Dodge. I agree. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about it because a lot of the teams that could get the number one pick, or top pick, or
Yep.
I don't think they should take a quarterback.
That
Um,
was my next point I was going to bring up to
so
you guys.
I definitely think like we might see Caleb Williams slide a little bit further into the draft than I think people were expecting. I think the top team that needs a quarterback that's going to be lowest. I mean, let's look at the records. Who's standing wise? I don't know who's got the top picks other than the Patriots could be up there, right? Do they still have a first rounder?
Yeah, so the Patriots are 2-8. We've got Tennessee at 3-7, Giants at 3-8, Chicago at 3-8, Carolina at 1-9, which Carolina's pick goes to the Bears, and then Cardinals at 2-9. And those are pretty much the worst records in football right now.
Yeah. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm taking Caleb Williams. Mac
Okay.
Jones' experiment is out.
Is he the only one that makes sense in your opinion
For the Patriots?
of those teams that I listed for them to draft a quarterback?
Who else was on the list? The Titans.
Titans weren't on the list. Or yeah, the Titans were on the list. Yeah. Titans, Pats, Giants, Bears, Cardinals.
I think with the Giants and Titans, you have a question mark that you could. I think there's a more reasonable possibility, but I think the Giants are going to rerun it with Daniel Jones. He had a terrible year this season, but I don't think they think that's indicative of him normally. And we need to continue to see how Will Levis plays. If Will Levis ends up playing garbage, and I mean worse than what we saw in Jacksonville, then maybe. But I think if he continues to play decently, yeah, the Patriots might be the only one that makes sense to take a quarterback that early.
Kaden, any thoughts?
I would agree. I would say take him if you're the Giants, but you just spent an absolute bag on Daniel Jones.
True.
So you have to ride with him. You can't just that's a lot of money to lose out on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Titans could consider getting him, but they just get quarterbacks every year, it seems like. Will Levis, Malik Willis. So it'd be like a third year in a row getting a young quarterback.
I do think Caleb Williams is better than either of those two.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would consider drafting him with the Titans too, but Patriots definitely. Mac Jones' time is done. If the Jets lose games, maybe they could slide close to a first pick. They could get him.
Yeah. So. No, I think there's definitely some good points brought up there. It's an interesting conversation because at the beginning of the year, it almost felt like everyone was like, "Oh, you have Justin Fields, just give him up. You got Caleb Williams. He's the answer." And as the season's gone on, that narrative has changed quite a bit. So that's why I wanted to ask that, is because now it's, well, which team actually needs a quarterback? And there were some comments about Kyler Murray even for a while there. Like, he's not the answer either. Yep. And so now we've got, I mean, I just asked you guys, there's only one team that everyone was a definitive answer. Yes, they should draft Caleb Williams. And with everyone on this hype of this great quarterback class coming into the draft, like,
I don't think it's that great.
Could a lot of quarterbacks, quote unquote, drop in the draft? It could happen. But it's also interesting. I would like just to bring this up. One more thing. It is interesting because we constantly say the quarterbacks in this league suck. Yet the first 5 picks, no, we've only said one definitive answer that they need a quarterback.
Yeah, the bad quarterbacks happen to be buoyed by good defenses and good coaches.
True.
Like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 6-4 with a bad quarterback.
True.
I also think this quarterback class is a little overrated. Caleb Williams would probably be the only one in that class that I would start right away.
Yeah.
The rest are probably people that I would have a backup first and then maybe start.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to ask you
I know we're
one.
all WSU guys here, but Michael Penix is buoyed by an O-line that's only allowed him to be sacked 7 times this season and receivers that are going to the NFL.
Okay.
That's all I
You
have
heard
to
it here
say.
first. A little bit of a hot take because everyone's kind of sucking Michael Penix's dick.
I watched him play
He's
at
sucking his
Indiana. He was
Penix is
not
what's
this good at
happening.
Indiana.
Caden, what do you think about Michael Penix?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how he does these last couple weeks. He played okay last week against Oregon State. I do think he gets carried by receivers that go make a play on the ball every time, but he does throw a pretty good ball. It's hard to argue that. He's leading the league in yards per game throwing, but Bo Nix I still think is a little bit under talked about, even though he's up there. Probably he might be leading the Heisman right
I think
now.
he is leading the Heisman.
Yeah,
race.
but I don't know. I still
What
think
other guys in the talks? And then one
Jaden
I want to
Daniels.
talk to you about, Dodge. What do you think about Jaden Daniels? You cannot deny his stats. They are crazy.
They're crazy good. And I think he's actually shown a lot of development during his years in college. But I think for you to be a day one starter out of college, you have to be like that good your entire career. And he just hasn't been. So I need to see more stuff in the NFL before I call him a day one starter.
Okay. All right, moving on back to the NFL because we took a weird turn there. But Bucks Niners, rate the game.
so is MIDterrean for me. I think it could have been good. The Bucks had chances at the end. Mayfield threw an interception there when it could have been a 1-score game. They went turnover on downs a couple times. Niners offense finally started clicking again now that they had all their guys back. Ayuk played really good for them. McCaffrey got a touchdown again, starting a new streak. So it was kind of mid. It was good to see the Niners kind of get back. They've been struggling, so just okay game.
Dodge.
Yeah. My only question though is that did we think the Niners were ever in trouble of losing this game?
No.
And it's barely
This is a tough one to rate.
It's barely going to be a MIDterrean Sea for me.
Yeah.
Because it is almost a shit show because the Niners had it in on lock all game. Yeah. So, I think Baker has surprisingly outplayed what everyone thought he was going to do. Maybe besides us, because we recognize that he had real good talent at receiver and lineman and running back.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's played well. He's played better than I thought he would too. So, although the Bucks keep losing, so there's that too. The Bucks are, what are they, 4-6?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about them being the best team in the NFC South at the beginning of the year for a little bit. So that was somewhere I was going to ask a follow-up question to you guys. Is there still a chance that they could take that title? And 2, do you think it's going to happen?
I think there's a chance just because that division, like we predicted, is just so bad. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
4 weeks in, we're like, holy shit, this division's good. The Falcons are 3-1, the Bucks are 3-1, the Saints are 3-1. Now it's a little bit back down to reality. They're only at half a game or a game back now. I think the Saints are 5-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they keep losing games by a couple points. Like they're close, so they could definitely compete and still win this division. I don't think they will. I think the Saints will win it barely, but it's going to be a shit show the next 7 weeks.
Yeah. Dodge, what do you think?
I want to hear your take first.
On this question that I just asked?
Yeah.
This division is so bad that I absolutely think the Bucs could do it. I can't stand this division. It irks me. I get fired up every time I talk about it. The Saints are what's their record right now? Let me look. I don't even know what their record is because I quit following them. They're so bad to watch. They're 5-4?
5-5 or 5-4, something like that.
Yeah, it looks like they're 5-4 from what I'm seeing. Yeah, so they're 5-4 and they're leading the division. And then you've got the Falcons right behind them, who are 4-6, and Tampa, who's 4-6. So absolutely, they could win this division. It's completely possible. But do I think they're a good team? No. I think this is a year where a team from the AFC South is going to make it, and they shouldn't be a playoff team.
Yeah, NFC South.
Yeah, NFC South, and they're just. I don't think any of these teams should be in the playoffs, but one of them has to make it.
Yeah, so I just quickly ran through NFL playoff machine before doing the pod.
Yeah.
I have all three of these teams finishing 8 and 9. And having a three-way tie at 8 and 9. So that's a little interesting. The Falcons in that three-way tie won. But yeah, honestly, it's wide open. Any three of these teams could do it. Do I think they're going to win a playoff game? I don't think any of the three can win a playoff game, even at home. So
yeah, absolutely not. Okay, so it sounds like we're kind of all in agreement. I haven't actually even talked about this game yet, so I'm going to rate it a MIDterrean, just because of the fact that there was one side of good football, So I did like watching Brock Purdy with the perfect passer rating, back to not his old ways. So, that was kind of cool. We haven't seen that since Joe Montana on the Niners, so good for him. I know Dodge isn't very happy as a Seahawks fan, but,
no.
It is what it is, man. All right, next game, Bills-Jets. Rate the game, boys.
Shit show. The Jets' offense was atrocious this game. Zach Wilson finally gets benched. Things might be looking up in New York. Give someone else a chance. That was their leading receiver was their running back, Breece Hall. It's 32-6. Bills get a much needed win for them. Much needed. And it was just ugly for the Jets.
To Robert Saleh and Arthur Smith, I would just like to thank you both for listening to this podcast and understanding how bad your quarterbacks are and benching them. You have finally made one good decision in your coaching career. This was a shit show. The Bills finally looked good, but the Jets looked even worse. So it wasn't even fun to watch. I mean, when Josh Allen gets taken out in the fourth quarter because they're winning by a lot, usually it's because it's a shit show. So,
and the other quarterback didn't even throw a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite shit show. I don't think Tim Boyle or who's the other guy?
Zach Wilson?
No, they have another quarterback that they were talking about. I heard, but Zach Wilson's moving to third string.
Trevor Siemian?
I don't know if you heard. Yeah, I think Trevor Siemian's becoming second string. Zach's third now.
Good.
I don't think
good.
Tim Boyle's gonna do any better. Tim Boyle, I think, is gonna be just as bad. If they really wanted to go and get a quarterback, they should have got Joe Flacco. Because he played on the Jets recently, and he actually played pretty decent on the Jets.
Yeah. Where's Mike White, by the way?
He's on the Dolphins, I think.
Bring him back.
I don't know. Mike White's not that good either. Either that, maybe you should have got Matt Ryan. I don't know. But if they really wanted to compete, they should have gotten someone else. But
Yeah.
I think they're just hoping and praying they win a few games
Yeah.
until Aaron Rodgers makes his infamous comeback, and they're still in playoff contention. That's what they want. But
Yikes. Yikes. I mean, it'll be interesting if he comes back. I was watching a video explaining that this is his surgery, the way he did it, and why he was able to recover faster. But I have also seen that it could go wrong pretty fast. So there's a very risk reward in the surgery he did. So we'll see if he takes that risk, one, and if the Jets let him take that risk.
yeah.
But, all right, moving on to the next game. Dodge. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
The Rams have secured a sweep in the season. 17-16, the Rams. Rate it, boys. Because I've already got mine again, and Dodge isn't going to like it.
Dodge, you go first on this one.
It was a shit show. I hated watching this damn game.
Hey, Dodge, can I ask you something?
What?
Are they still Super Bowl contenders?
All right, we don't need to beat up on me.
Yeah, I was just asking. You did say it a couple weeks
I know
ago.
I said it. I don't know anymore. I don't know. Oh, the last loss, I was like, well, man, they're still 6-3. Yeah, they'll beat the Rams. There's no way the Rams sweep them. And then I never thought I'd want Geno, like more than I wanted Geno to come back into that game, like so bad.
Yeah.
Because Drew Lock sucks. Drew Lock's so
Horse, cock, lock.
freaking bad. He's so bad. And then he's laughing on the sideline. Like, are you shitting me? And then he gets pulled out because Geno's ready to come back in, and this dude's frowning. Legit, like, frowning. I hate Drew Lock. He should get cut.
Cock, lock.
He's losing those games.
Who had the final snap? Like QB?
Geno.
Okay.
Geno came back. He actually got us back in field goal range, and then Myers missed it. There's something with us against the Rams. I don't know what the hell it is. But watch us come back and beat the Niners on Thanksgiving, baby. And then everybody will say, oh, yeah, we're Super Bowl contenders again. 7-4. I'm ready for it.
Kaden?
To me, anytime the Seahawks play the Rams, it's a grab your popcorn because you never know what's going to happen. It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be fun. And the Seahawks really pissed this one down their leg. They were in control. And then Horsecock Lock just needed to complete one or two passes, one or two first downs, move the clock, win the game. 2 for 6, 3 yards and a pick.
He's got a kid coming on the way, man.
I remember this when
got other things on his mind.
I remember this when the Cowboys dropped one.
No,
some shit team.
We lost to the Cardinals. All right.
And you lose.
Fuck. Then they had the chance to win at the end. Just couldn't get it done, which is tough. But I don't know. It's still fun to me to watch this game every time.
Come see me November 30th.
Okay.
When we beat you at home.
It's in Dallas. Oh, wait, it isn't. Fuck. Thursday Night Football in Dallas.
Well, Dodge, this falls under a very special category for me.
Oh, no.
What the fuck happened? I don't how many weeks ago was that? 4 weeks ago that you're saying they're a Super Bowl contender, and I slightly believed you. You made some decent points. Ever since then, Dodge, you have jinxed this team. First, they get blown out by the Ravens. I mean, absolutely annihilated. Then they barely win against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Now they lose by 1 point to the Rams for a Rams sweep. You know, you guys account for half of the Rams' wins this year.
Yeah, I hold that, you know.
No,
The
I
Rams
just
needed this win to stay in playoff contention. They did it. Congrats to them. Yeah.
no, it's just like a what the fuck, because this team really was looking up for me, and the last 3 weeks they have really taken a turn. So if
They
they
need to
can
come
pull
back.
off a win against the Niners, it could very well turn around again. But for
If they
now, it's
beat
a
the
what the
Niners and
fuck game.
Cowboys, they're back on the road to be Super Bowl champs. So
You heard it here first, folks. Bold takes on the Logical Nonsense podcast.
they could as
Moving
easily
to
be 6-6. So
moving to Sunday Night Football, baby. Let's fucking ride. Let's fucking ride. Grab your popcorn, folks. This was a great game. Cortland Sutton with the last minute touchdown in the back of the end zone. Back-to-back weeks has he saved our fucking ass. I fucking love it. Broncos fans, let's ride until the horse falls off, because we all know this carriage is breaking down at some point. So, boys, what do you rate this?
This was MIDterrean Sea. I thought the Broncos were going to win on 7 field goals or 6 field goals this game, because they're down in the red zone and they go, here, Jerry Jeudy, here's a touchdown. Oh, shit, dropped it.
Dude, don't even get me started on that. Oh, my God.
I was like, they're really going to win this game, like 18-17 on 6 field goals. But luckily for them, the Vikings fumbled it. Literally, Madison fumbled it more. And then Cortland Sutton makes a big boy play. They win again. I think the funny thing about the Broncos is, barring that 50-point loss, they're like plus minus the rest of the season. I think they're +1 on like point differential in their wins. So a lot of their games are close. They're finding ways to win the last couple weeks. Russell Wilson's looked pretty good, but I mean, -50 to the Dolphins. Besides that, they've been good.
I think this is a grab your popcorn, baby. Throw that num. Eat that W.
That's what I'm
talking about. Russell Willie. I'm one of those Seahawks fans that still wish Russell Wilson good times so he can make the Hall of Fame someday. No, and Russell's continued to play good. Honestly, has played as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think even he's getting the respect he deserves, even though people are like, oh, I apologize. He's having a bad year last year. I just want to say, like, he's honestly playing as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And honestly, I still think his receiving core is garbage. Cortland Sutton, he's known for making these spectacular plays, and the past few weeks he's converted on them, and that's really buoyed this offense. Jeudy still sinks. And the defense is really the thing that looks better now, and that's got them 4 wins in a row.
Young guys have stepped up.
Yeah. So I'm on the Broncos hype train. I wish them the best, because I love seeing Russell Wilson play like he did with Seattle and get those late game-winning drives that he was known for. That was just sick.
Yeah. No, I think this game was, to Caden's point, the field goals were a little annoying. It's, Will Lutz had 5 of them, so there was that. But, I think overall it was just fun to see this defense work again, because it's been so long. And also the Broncos, 4 straight games, first time since 2016. It's been 7 years since we won 4 straight games. That's kind of crazy to me. Well, not really, but it's something. I'll say that. So I'm excited, but I also look at our schedule, and we play the Browns, the Texans, the Lions, the Chargers twice, and the Raiders. It's doable, but knowing the Broncos, I don't like it.
All I'm saying is, look at the teams you've just beat.
I get that.
Bills, Chiefs,
I understand that,
Vikings.
Dodge. I understand that.
I think it could
However,
happen.
you
Gotta
haven't
believe.
seen you have. The last 7 years has been torture. It's I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know what to think. I'm much more hopeful than I was after that Miami game. I will say that. So it's been quite the turnaround. But finishing off week 11, we have Eagles, Chiefs. Rate the game, boys.
Going in on paper, Super Bowl matchup, it should be grab your popcorn, but the rain kind of killed it for me.
Yep.
It was a MIDterrean Sea overall for me. It was close, but it just wasn't a fun offensive game, really. All the Eagles' drives, they were just kind of, they had 3 scoring drives, and besides that, they punted on every possession. The Chiefs still don't have receivers that can help out Mahomes. That drop was brutal. That was killer. And that, I don't even think you can blame the rain on that one because that was a perfect pass right in his hands. But it was just kind of a mid game. The Eagles find a way to get the win. And so I wasn't really pleased too much by it.
I'm going to disagree. I think this is another grab your popcorn game. I expected a low scoring game because the Chiefs' offense is what's been disappointing. And the weather wasn't good, and I think the defenses are just better than the offenses on the Eagles and Chiefs right now. So, yeah, I expected a low-scoring game. That's what I got, and it was a very interesting, intense game throughout. I felt like, and it was a good game for me to watch.
I'm going with MIDterrean Sea as well. I predicted a slower pace game. I agree with you, Dodge. Both of these teams' defense has stepped up all year long. I think a lot of people going into this, especially after watching the Super Bowl, were expecting some explosions on offense, that kind of thing, but have forgotten what these teams have been kind of made of this whole year. It's been kind of a switch for these teams, I would say, in that sense, because last year we talked about how prolific the Eagles offense was with Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and just how crazy that offense was. And same with Kansas City Chiefs, how they're able to utilize Travis Kelce and that kind of thing. And honestly, Kelce hasn't had that great of a season compared to what he's done. Yes, compared to what he's done, he's not really performing to what we're used to. He obviously had the fumble tonight, which cost them quite a bit. Yep. And so it was kind of a sloppy game, which is why I put it in the MIDterrean game. I can get behind defensive games all day long, but sloppy football where you're dropping the ball and there's fumbles that aren't caused by the defense, I'm not a huge fan of. So that's why I have it in the mid tier. All right, so that's week 11. You know what time it is, boys? Anybody? Rapid fire picks. We've got turkey Thanksgiving dinner. Thursday, 9:30 a.m. sharp. Packers, Lions. Dodge.
Give me Lions.
Yep.
Kaden.
Lions as well.
We got a 3-way sweep. Lions, baby. Oh, Commanders, Cowboys at 1:30. Kaden.
Cowboys. Commanders losing record. They'll win.
Dodge.
Cowboys.
Yep. I am on the train of Kaden. It is a losing team. They will win. They will dominate. Going to the next game. Niners, Seahawks. 5:20. Thursday. Dodge is cooking up in the lab with Dan Matthews. What do you got, Dodge?
I got fly, Seahawks, fly. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to win here in Seattle, baby.
Heard it here first, folks. We got
as long as Gino's playing.
Kaden.
Yeah, Niners.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We got the Niners as well.
Boom.
Perfect passer rating, Purdy. Friday night football. Ever heard of that? Friday night football. We got Dolphins, Jets. Dodge.
Give me the Jets in a weird one. I don't know what the hell's gonna
Whoa, yo, sirens! Grab your
give me,
popcorn,
give me something weird. Friday night. Never play on Friday night.
Kaden.
I'm gonna go Dolphins barely.
Woo! I'm going with Dolphins, and with Tim Boyle, I don't think it's going to be close. Sunday, 10 a.m. Saints Falcons. We were just talking about this NFC South race. Dodge.
Give me the Falcons. They're at home, and Taylor Heineke.
Kaden.
Surprise, Ritter's starting, so Saints.
Wait, Ritter started?
They just announced it, today. Ritter's back in the starting lineup.
Why? Why?
They're dumb.
Arthur Smith's a dumbass. Give me the Saints.
Oh.
Steelers, Bengals. 10 a.m. We got Jake Browning versus Kenny Pickett. What a game, folks. Dodge, Matthews, what would you like to pick?
Give me the Steelers.
Kaden?
Same, barely, just their defense.
And I am also going with the Steelers. Panthers, Titans. Talk about a shit show, boys. Kaden.
I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one.
Dodge.
Titans.
Give me the Panthers, baby. Bryce Young looking great against this Mike Vrabel defense. Buccaneers, Colts. Kaden.
Go with the Colts.
Dodge.
Colts.
Bucks need it, baby. Give me the Bucks. Patriots, Giants. Dodge.
Giants.
Kaden.
Giants as well.
Caleb Williams is going to the Pats. Give me the Giants, baby. Jags, Texans, Dodge.
Texans.
Woo! CJ Stroud magic, baby. Kaden.
They're winning the AFC South. Give me the Texans.
Oh, shit. This would be a sweep if the Texans do it, but I don't think they are. Give me Travis Etienne on a 3-touchdown game. Jags winning. Browns, Broncos. Kaden.
Broncos country. Let's ride. Until those wheels fall off, we'll ride them.
I agree. The Broncos are playing hot. The Browns, who knows who's going to start at quarterback? Could be Joe Flacco. Give me the Broncos.
Where is this? Is this in the Mile High City?
I think so.
You know what they say about that Mile High? Myles Garrett can't compete. Give me Broncos. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride. Rams, Cardinals. Kaden.
Cardinals.
After the Rams beat us, they're gonna lose to the Cardinals. So Cards.
I'll go with the Rams. Matt Stafford's back. I'll give it to Matty. Chiefs, Raiders, Dodge.
Give me the Chiefs.
Kaden.
Yeah, Chiefs.
We got a 3-way Chiefs in Las Vegas. Bills, Eagles. Kaden.
Give me the Bills. Big win for them.
Dodge, Matthews.
Give me the Eagles.
You know what? The Bills are so inconsistent. They're going to win this game. Bills, baby. Ravens, Chargers. Kaden.
Another upset. Chargers at home. This is one they shouldn't win. They'll pull it out somehow.
It's a Brandon Staley thing to do. I will say that. Dodge.
The Chargers need this one to kind of stay in playoff contention. They're not going to get it. Staley's fired after this game.
I like that. Give me Staley fired at halftime. Ravens. Monday Night Football. We've got the Bears versus the Vikings. Dodge.
The Vikings.
Kaden.
Vikings as well.
Give me that Pasternaut, baby. We're going to the moon. All right. That's what we got for week 12. Boys, any final thoughts going into Thanksgiving? Anything you're thankful for football?
I'm thankful for the 3 primetime games we had this week.
It's a good point. It's a good point. All 3 pretty decent ones.
I am thankful for not playing a team with a winning record, so my Thanksgiving won't be ruined.
And I'm thankful that for the first time since 2016, the Broncos have won 4 straight, and we have a 500 record after losing by 50 points to the Dolphins in the same season. So there's my thankfulness. Boys, as always, I appreciate all of you hopping on here. Good times as always. Is your Thanksgiving going to be a grab your popcorn, MIDterrean, or shit show? That's what I'll leave you with. Rate it.
Oh, grab your popcorn all the way. I think all 3 of these games have potential to be good. So.
No, not the games. Your personal Thanksgiving.
Oh. Grab your popcorn. I don't know.
Grab your turkey leg. Let's eat.
Nice. I like it. New term. Well, I had Thanksgiving on Saturday, so I won't be eating with anyone. So I'm going with shit show. All right, boys. Thanks for coming on as always. It was fun. So.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thanks for having us, Hunter.